Good morning. Happy Sunday. Sip of the coffee. Let's do an overview of this whole state management thing. So, what is it that drives and decides all the quality of our lives? Well, we've talked about that it's how well you manage your state is the number one thing. Well, how is it that that works? So, the three things that really decide the quality of your life are your state management, your values, and your beliefs. Values are the states, the feelings, the outcomes that you want to have in your life or you want to not have in your life. You have towards values and you have away values. So towards values might be success or freedom or love or passion or variety or intimacy. A human need is also a value. So if you've seen me talk about the 6 human needs, that's kind of a separate thing. That's a way of interpreting why we do what we do. The human needs are values, but they're not the only values. It's just that human needs are things that people will find a way to have in their life no matter what. Values can be completely different. One person can value freedom or variety or excitement, and the person right next to them can value security. And in fact, those two people can be in a relationship. So, let's say that one person values excitement and the other person values security, and you want to go skydiving. Are both of these people going to want to go skydiving? Absolutely not. One, the variety one, or the passion one, or they're going to want to go, whereas the person who values security, they're going to not want to go. So, and then we have away values. People will have different away values. Some people, rejection or loss of freedom or fear of losing money or loneliness, failure, So we'll have towards values and we'll have away values. Beliefs are what you believe has to happen in order for the value to be hit. So the value is the target on the board, and the belief is what has to happen in order for you to hit that target. So let's say you value success, then you have to ask yourself the question, in order for me to be successful, what has to happen? And then that answer will give you what it has to happen in order to achieve that outcome. So for some people, especially achievers, they'll set their standards incredibly high, which is great, but they'll also set it up so that they can never achieve their values. So one of their values might be to be physically fit. And they'll say, okay, well, what has to happen in order for you to be physically fit? And then they'll have a whole set of rules. And the problem with that is they never actually feel like they achieve the outcome. So, and it's great to have high standards. We should all have incredibly high standards because that's really the difference in the quality of your life. If you want to increase the quality of your life, raise your standards. That sounds simplistic and, but that's really the deal. If you want to have a better quality of life, then raise your standards. If you live by a higher level of standards, you're going to have a higher quality of life. That's our Marine example. The Marine Corps is my favorite example there. So, towards values, what you want to have in your life. Away values, what you don't want to have in your life. Beliefs, what has to happen in order to hit that target. Why is state management more important than those two things? Because whatever state you're in will determine how you interpret that information. So remember we talked about, I did the difference between Carly Simon and Bruce Springsteen getting on stage to sing, how they would have the exact same experience. And for one, it was a nervous breakdown. That's how they interpreted that. And for the other one, it was preparation, and now they knew that they were ready. Your state management decides how you're interpreting anything at any given time. So you could actually be achieving the results, but because you're not managing your state properly, you don't even notice. So remember when we did the thing where we looked around the room and I said, find everything that's brown, and then you closed your eyes and I said, tell me everything that was red? See, that's a state management tool or experience, because many times people only focus on the negative. They only focus on what's not working. They never focus on what's working. And so they could have all kinds of great things going on in their life or around them and never notice that that's happening, because we can't notice everything. We're deletion creatures. We have to take certain things away. So you need to know your values. You need to know your beliefs with regards to those values. And you need to know that you can change all of those things. That's the book, Awaken the Giant Within. That's the technology that Tony Robbins created that nobody else has. That's something that's uniquely his, and that's the film I'm Not Your Guru, and that's the seminar Date with Destiny, which is his most powerful seminar in my opinion. And there you can actually realign your beliefs. That book and that seminar will show you how to do that. And there's nothing more powerful than that, because think about it. If you totally realign your values, you totally become a different person. Now, does this happen to people? Sure. Somebody doesn't live a healthy life and all of a sudden they have a heart attack, and then they decide, okay, my values are going to get completely turned upside down. Can people change? Absolutely. Can you change them? Not unless they want to be changed. That's an addict. You can talk to an addict all you want. You can talk to an alcoholic all you want. But they're not going to change until they hit rock bottom and they get to a point where they decide to change. And once they decide, can they become a different person? Yep, absolutely. So the reason that we talk so much about state management is because if you manage your state, then you're going to interpret what's going on around you differently, which means you're going to interpret the events for your beliefs towards your values differently. And you're going to achieve your values more often, which is then going to create that cycle of success. Does that make sense? It's kind of a big chunk. So that's why we spend all this time on state management, is because the better you do at that, the better you're going to feel like you're achieving your values, which means you're going to feel successful, which means you're going to want to set higher values, you're going to want to set higher standards, and away we go. Goals are the reason why to do all of that. When you talk about state management, values, and beliefs, that's the how, okay? But you got to have a reason to do that. What's your why? Your why are your goals. We could all be up at 4:30 in the morning full of excitement and passion. We could all be physically fit at the way that we want to be. We could all have the financial independence that we deserve. We could all have all of those things, but few of us do. And is that because we don't have the ability? Absolutely not. Look who's listening attentively. Her mom's not here. She's not happy. Shh, just a minute. But few of us do. And so the whole idea of goals, why goals are so important, is because if you get a big enough why, then the state management happens automatically. If you get a big enough why, then the values will align themselves on their own, and you won't have to do anything about it. People that all of a sudden have a reason to absolutely achieve their outcomes don't have to worry about raising their standards. Their standards raise automatically. The state management, though, is still very important because it allows you to manage yourself along the way and to not stay in frustration or anger or any of those things. So that's why if we focus on our motive, our reason, The example of Ebenezer Scrooge, once he got a big enough why, once there was enough leverage, the values completely shifted without him even having to worry about it. His state management completely shifted, and his beliefs about what needed to happen in order to achieve those values completely shifted. People that get a big enough reason, all the rest falls into place. So I hope that makes sense. That's an overview of all of this. So that's why we spend so much time on state management, because it's so powerful. If you manage your state, it's going to be easier to do all of this stuff. And quite frankly, you're going to live a happier life. If you don't manage your state, then you're not going to do all of that stuff. Or if you do, it's going to be much more difficult, and you're not going to have as fun a ride along the way. And you got to remember that you got to enjoy the process. It's not a destination. Success is not a destination. It's a journey. You got to achieve along the way, and you got to happily achieve. You got to enjoy each of the steps and enjoy every day while you're still living with your high standards, while you're still living all that stuff. And there's a feeling amongst a lot of people that if I do that, then I'm going to lose my motivation. But actually the opposite is true. As success starts to happen and as you start to get better at it, you're going to get more and more motivated. And it's going to be even easier to do it. So it's Sunday. It's our rest and relax or rejuvenate or enjoy or however you interpret all of those things. Think about the big picture. Values are what you want to have in your life. Beliefs are what has to happen in order for that to be achieved. Do you have those things in order? Do they make sense? State management affects all of this. That's the lens that you look at the world through. If you put on dark colored glasses, then everything's going to be dark. You put on rose colored glasses, then everything's going to be great. If you always look for what's good, that's what you're going to find. If you always look for what's crappy, well, then that's what you're going to find. And remember, where focus goes, energy flows. And if you get a big enough why, it'll all fall into place. When your back is against the wall, as The Rock says, that's why everything in The Rock is named $7. $7 or $6. What are the other? Because that's all he had in his pocket after he left the NFL and the Canadian Football League is $7, and he had to get a ride from his dad. And he gets himself motivated every day, no matter what money he makes or what achievement he gets, by remembering the day when his back was against the wall. And by the way, the most successful people and companies are rarely the ones that are the best. They're the ones that approach everything with the most energy and toughness in terms of output. The Rock was the number one paid actor in Hollywood for a couple of years in a row. Is he the best actor? I don't think anybody would say that he's the best actor, but he was the number one paid. Is that because he's lazy, or is that because he works harder than anybody else, which, by the way, is what he says? I'm the hardest working guy in the room. Massive energy is what drives all of this. If you can get a big enough why that gives you this great hunger, then you're going to become unstoppable. And money flows to attention. Energy and output gets attention, which is where money goes. Spend the rest of the day thinking about the companies and the people that are incredibly successful in their areas. And then think about the amount of energy and attention that they get. Think about individuals, from successful athletes to individuals who are, Tesla is now worth more money than all the other car companies combined. Think about that. And then go look at how many cars Ford and GM and Chrysler sell versus how many cars Tesla even makes. But that stock is now worth more than all those companies combined. Why? Attention. The people who get attention and who have this massive output, that's where it all comes back. Does McDonald's make the greatest cheeseburgers on the planet? No. But they've sold more cheeseburgers than everybody else combined. Does Southwest Airlines have the nicest planes and the nicest food? No. But they've made more money than all the other airlines combined. Get a big enough why, and then the rest of everything will fall into place. And think about, where is it that you want to be today? Where do you want to be in 30 years, 40 years? And what needs to happen in order for you to get there? And find today your why so that all of these things can fall into place for you. Have a great Sunday, everybody. We're all in this together. Thanks for watching. Let's take care of each other.